Meghan Markle and Prince Harry may leave Montecito and move to Florida. Well, they're saying it's all to do with the Beckhams, but could it also be because Netflix has dropped her?
He is frightened. I mean, he can be very angry with her, but then there are times when she really lets go, that he is scared and she can scream.
Altogether, Netflix has made the not so difficult decision to axe with Love Meghan, plunging the Duchess.
Meghan and Harry, y'all owe me a serious chunk of change, that loan for your Montecito mansion. If it ain't paid back in 30 days, I'll have no choice but to take this to court.
Did Meghan Markle put out a fake photo? Now, as you're going to see here on this, I guess what is supposed to be promotional content or something. Who made this, Meghan? All your teams are gone. Did you do this yourself? Oh, you've been doing it yourself the whole time?
She is an absolute user of the media. She uses every conceivable way to try and play the victim and score.
That's it. If Meghan wants to send us stuff, it's going straight in the bin.
She has just rejected the fellow actress in the most mortifying manner after moving to Montecito. This is a headline that Meghan Markle doesn't want to see.
It's not like she's on the bed rest. She's been walking the lower village since the pregnancy, and her mother has the first child wandering around.
Harry and Meghan's statement about their near catastrophic car chase with paparazzi through the streets of Manhattan was disturbing. Their account of a relentless pursuit at the hands of aggressive hordes of photographers was intentionally.
Meghan Markle's cheering on the Invictus Games athletes from home. A source told Page Six that Meghan left Vancouver a few days before the end of the games to be with her and Prince Harry's two children, Archie and Lilibet.
And Meghan actually is very, very rude and bad. And I'm very pleased that people say, look, you do what you like, but I'm actually for the royal family and I don't want to hear the dreadful things.
Meghan Markle didn't just wake up one morning and decide to leave Montecito. Something shifted there. At first, everything looked perfect: the massive estate, the ultra-wealthy neighborhood, the privacy, the status. It was the kind of place people move to when they believe they've finally arrived. And for a while it worked. Then quietly it didn't. Invitations slowed. Casual drop-ins disappeared. Friendly faces became polite distances. No arguments. No public drama. Just a gradual pullback you only recognize once it's already happening. And in Montecito, that kind of silence is the message.
Leave Montecito. Prince Harry and Meghan are raising eyebrows across the neighbourhood as they continue to release more controversial material in the Netflix series, and with the Duke's recent promotional interviews for his memoir Spare. According to reporter Martha Kellner of Sky News, as the TV and book deals mount up, neighbours are beginning to question the motives behind their media offensive. She went around the Montecito neighbourhood asking residents what they think about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's ceaseless revelations about the British royal family.
This isn't Hollywood. Montecito doesn't care about podcasts, Netflix deals, or personal brands. Most residents have more money than celebrities, and far less tolerance for attention. They value quiet, routine, and low visibility. Meghan brought the opposite. Constant headlines, constant explanations, constant launches, relaunches, and corrections. That level of noise makes people uncomfortable, especially when it lives next door. By mid-2025, the atmosphere had changed. Neighbors weren't rude. They were distant. And in Montecito, distance is never accidental. It means people don't want their names anywhere near what might come next.
Meghan Markle going to be the next queen of Palm Beach. That apparently Prince Harry and Megxie are considering buying a home in Florida, and it's all because of the Beckhams. And so let's go into this story, find out how the Beckhams enter this narrative, and then shortly after, I'm then going to explain to you the Montecito of it all. Okay, guys?
Meghan didn't become a problem because of one scandal or one headline. She became a risk. Her name pulled attention, questions, and cameras into a place that hates all three. Once that happens, staying becomes awkward fast. You feel it at dinner tables, in conversations that end early, in rooms where you're no longer looped in. And when a place built on comfort starts feeling uncomfortable, you start planning an exit, even if you tell yourself it was always your choice. That's where this story really begins. Because Montecito didn't turn on Meghan first. Hollywood did. And that's the part she likely didn't see coming.
Even Meghan knows. And of course, she is right to say that acting was a means to an end rather than a passion project for Ms. Markle.
Hollywood didn't attack her. It didn't cancel her. It simply stopped calling, and that's the real kiss of death. On paper, everything looked perfect. Big deals, big headlines, Spotify, Netflix, interviews everywhere. From the outside, it seemed like a flawless post-royal transition. But behind the scenes, momentum slowed. Meetings took longer to book. Projects dragged. Decisions stalled. That's always how it starts. Spotify was the first signal. The deal didn't end with excitement or expansion. No second phase. No public praise. No we loved working together, it just ended.
Meghan's natural allies, especially those in the MSM, are realizing this is a bust and trying to get her to understand that there has to be a second act. So look at this from the Los Angeles Times, the liberal left-wing Los Angeles Times.
In Hollywood, silence is never neutral, it's a message. Netflix came next. Yes, the first project drew attention. But attention only matters if it turns into momentum. And it didn't. There were no rushed announcements, no leaks about new projects, no industry buzz. Just quiet. And here's how Hollywood really works. When studios believe in you, they push hard. When they don't, they let you fade without confrontation.
Meghan Markle's getting some criticism from the Daily Beast. With every terrible project, a little more of Archie and Lilibet slips into view. And the Daily Beast says that because we were getting these new Netflix numbers today, which well, the Daily Beast claims they did, and Meghan could not reach the top 10. She's in like mid-30s when, her show was released last week.
By late 2025, Meghan's name wasn't coming up in rooms anymore. Not as drama, not as controversy, just not at all. Agents stopped pitching her as a priority. PR teams shifted focus to clients with easier wins. Executives stopped asking, "What's next for Meghan?" and started asking, "Who else do we have?" That's when you know the window is closing, not because you failed publicly, but because no one's waiting anymore. And when Hollywood stops waiting, it sends a signal. A very loud one.
That was the whole huge deal a few weeks ago, right? They're not spending Christmas together. It was literally multiple stories that we heard about that and a blind item.
Everyone notices when Hollywood loses interest, including the people back in Montecito, who were already uneasy. So now two things were happening at once. The industry was cooling off, and home was starting to feel uncomfortable. That's when the slide stopped being slow, because the next rejection didn't come from studios. It came from other celebrities. And that's where things truly went sideways. Hollywood going cold is bad, but this was worse.
Here we go. The article says here that apparently Brooklyn and Nicola have become big fans of Hazza and Megxie, the source saying they can't stop singing their praises, and that these four are as thick as thieves and have been talking about all sorts of collaborations, and that Hazza and Megxie are now seriously thinking about getting a place in Florida. Then going down to say, as I scroll down here, there we go, she no doubt would love the idea of establishing herself as the Queen of Palm Beach, says the source. In other words, Megxie apparently loves the idea of trying to establish herself as the Queen of Palm Beach.
When celebrities pull away, it's never random. Stars don't ghost people without a reason. By late 2025, something felt off around Meghan. No group photos. No surprise appearances at events. No famous friends casually backing her online. Just silence. And that's not normal in celebrity culture. Distancing is subtle, but unmistakable. Texts get answered late, if at all. Plans never quite happen. Everyone's busy. And suddenly, you're no longer in the same rooms.
Meghan Markle Hollywood questions, but you're my new expert. I hope you're okay with accepting this position.
I've taken it on like a badge of honor.
One moment made that impossible to ignore. Jennifer Aniston. According to multiple entertainment reporters and insider chatter, Meghan made a friendly outreach when she knew Jennifer was nearby. Nothing dramatic neighborly gestures, polite messages, the standard Hollywood, let's be cordial move. And it went nowhere. No response. No acknowledgement. No follow-up. That silence mattered more than any headline. Because when someone like Jennifer Aniston doesn't engage, the message is clear without a single word being spoken. Don't involve me.
Meghan Markle awkwardly love-bombing Jennifer Aniston with cringy gifts and invites ahead of the Friends actress's move to the Divas neighborhood. Let me take you through this story from Radar Online because it is quite something. Needy Meghan Markle is love-bombing Jennifer Aniston with gifts ahead of the actress's move to Montecito after her stalking ordeal, but sources say the star wants the Duchess to get lost.
After that, the pattern spread. No invitations. No collaborations, no casual dinners or organic run-ins. And here's the key point. This wasn't about people disliking Meghan. It was about avoiding complications. Celebrities protect their image, their deals, and their peace. If being associated with someone brings questions, awkward headlines, or constant drama, they quietly step back permanently. And once that happens, the support system disappears fast. Because in Hollywood, famous friends aren't just friends. They're protection. They soften narratives. They vouch for you. They make things feel stable. When that protection vanishes, the pressure builds in ways you can't ignore.
It feels like Jennifer Aniston really has the measure of Meghan Markle here, especially using that word poisonous, and especially making the point, Angela, that she doesn't like the way that she has treated the British royal family.
Well, that really pleases me, actually, and I would like to hear more and more people saying that, because it has been just so awful for them. And Meghan actually is very, very rude and bad. And I'm very pleased that people say, look, you do what you like, but I'm actually for the royal family, and I don't want to hear the dreadful things that you or Harry are saying. Get lost.
And this is where the conversation stops being about image and starts being about money. Awkward press is survivable. Social discomfort fades. But financial pressure forces action. By the second half of 2025, the whispers weren't about vibes anymore, they were about numbers. People close to the situation were saying the same thing. The lifestyle no longer matched the income. The Montecito estate looked flawless on camera, but running it wasn't cheap. Security alone costs a fortune. Add staff, legal teams, PR, maintenance, and constant travel, and the meter never stops. Behind the scenes, one name kept surfacing: Tyler Perry. For a long time, he was Meghan's safety net in the US. Early on, when things were unstable, he stepped in with serious support: security, space, stability. Having someone that powerful in your corner buys time. But by 2025, that arrangement no longer felt comfortable. Not publicly, privately.
Meghan and Harry, y'all owe me a serious chunk of change that loan for your Montecito mansion. If it ain't paid back in 30 days, I'll have no choice but to take this to court.
The conversation wasn't about personal fallout. It was about pressure. About how long support could realistically continue when major projects weren't landing and revenue wasn't flowing like before. And here's the uncomfortable truth people avoid. Generosity changes once timelines appear. When money is moving, no one asks questions. When it slows, everything gets examined. Suddenly, temporary help needs an end date. Suddenly, expectations replace goodwill. Suddenly, the math matters more than loyalty. And once that happens, Montecito stops making sense.
It's not necessary to put the back of their heads on there. It's not necessary to put the side of their heads. It's going to show that, like, you want to let people in, but you don't want to let them all in. And the whole thing is the privacy.
You don't stay in the most expensive, high-maintenance setup possible when the safety net starts feeling thinner. That's when cutting exposure becomes the priority financially and publicly. Moving stops being about preference and starts being about survival. And once money becomes the issue, every other problem accelerates. Because now it's not about who supports you. It's about what you can realistically afford to keep sustaining.
Could it also be because Netflix has dropped her and Montecito has not accepted her, sees her as a failure, and so she's going to move to the other side of the country? Well, let's put it this way, guys. We know her life has now failed in Hollywood. There's reports are coming through confirming what we all knew was going to happen anyway. I've been saying it for well over a year. A lot of us have in the Megxit community. Netflix is dumping her and Azza. They're not renewing the contract in any way, shape or form. It is done.
This is where the story stops being emotional and starts being obvious. At the end of the day, a brand has one real job: it has to pay the bills. And by 2025, Meghan Markle's brand wasn't doing that anymore. Archewell looked impressive on paper. Big mission statements, big language, Big promises. But appearing busy isn't the same as generating income. Charity doesn't fund luxury living. Awareness doesn't pay security teams. Buzz doesn't cover legal bills. That's the part fans don't like to confront.
I mean, again, it's a nice concept.
It's a gesture. Yeah.
This is such silly PR. I mean, it just is. It's such silly. And you're so right. Like, because I was like, is she trying to promote her jam? But no, she's trying to change her public.
Throw jam in there.
She does say that.
Security bills don't pause. PR firms don't offer mercy. Lawyers, advisors, staff, and consultants expect their checks every single month, and those numbers climb fast. The issue was never that Meghan had no money. The real problem was that the expenses stayed elite while the income slowed. No blockbuster deals. No headline resetting contracts. No announcement big enough to change the narrative. Projects stalled. Concepts never left the pitch stage. And delays are fatal when your lifestyle depends on the next deal arriving right on time.
The elderly man who tried to take a book or a video, I think it was a documentary to Meghan about the history of the local area.
It was a present.
Yeah, exactly, because he wanted her to know about the area and she rejected him. So she's only interested, it seems to me, Angela, with friends who are going to further her either professionally or reputationally. Because we've seen that with the likes of Jamie Kern-Lima, with the boss of Spank, Sarah Blackley, who she interviewed this week. All of her friendships, she just views as networking opportunity.
Here's the truth most brands avoid admitting. When growth stops, decline begins even if everything still looks polished on the surface. At that point, the question isn't what's next. It becomes, what can we cut before this collapses? That's when the Montecito house stops feeling like a victory and starts feeling like a liability, too expensive, too exposed, too hard to justify. The brand could still speak. It just couldn't carry the lifestyle anymore. And once that reality sets in, ambition takes a back seat to damage control.
The exclusive from Rob Shooter, who was the first to officially confirm that Netflix was ending its exclusive partnership with the Sussexes. He writes, "The royal glow has dimmed. Meghan Markle's Netflix project with Love Meghan won't be getting a third season, sources confirm to Shooter Scoop. Despite Meghan and Harry's fresh multi-year first look deal with the streamer, insiders say the lifestyle-heavy series is on life support. The second series was a bust, never cracking Netflix's top 10 in the US, UK, or globally. The numbers were dreadful, one insider admits. Netflix wants global hits. Meghan's show just didn't deliver."
That's how Florida entered the conversation. Let's be honest, this wasn't a bold reinvention. People don't leave Montecito for Florida because they're winning. They leave because staying stopped working. This wasn't about weather or fresh energy. It wasn't a glow-up. Florida appeared when California became uncomfortable and the pressure stopped easing. Everyone understands the difference immediately. California is where you build status. Florida is where you go for distance. Distance from Hollywood calls that stopped coming. From neighbors who disengaged. From reporters who began treating every move as a signal of decline.
As to why she wants to move over to Florida? Could there be another reason? Because reports are coming through that her life has completely failed in Montecito, as she's been unable to win the elite over there. Here, the Daily Mail article from back in April. Montecito mean girls are whispering to me about Walmart me Meghan as a podcast flops, and that's not even their cruelest cut. So the word from Montecito insiders is that Meghan's mean girl friends are relentlessly gossiping behind her back, roasting her as pumpkin spice and Walmart for allegedly selling out in a series of cheap stunts that do little to establish her as a forward-looking influencer. To their point, a show about founders is clumsy Gen Z speak for anyone who coined a hashtag. It's so 5 minutes ago, as the kids say.
Florida lowers the temperature, lower taxes, less media obsession, fewer industry expectations. And that last part matters most. If this move were strength, it would have arrived with news. New partners, new projects, renewed momentum. Instead, it arrived with rumors, jokes, and raised eyebrows. That's never a good sign. People didn't say, smart move. They asked, why Florida? That isn't curiosity, it's doubt. And Florida doesn't insulate celebrities the way Montecito does. There's no quiet bubble softening perception. If something feels unstable, it shows. If it looks desperate, people say it out loud, which makes this move dangerous. Because once the last layer of cover disappears, every delay hits harder. Every silent month gets louder. Florida doesn't reset reputations, it tests them. And failing that test doesn't come with another soft landing.
And as I've reported over the years, it doesn't stop there. There have been rumblings from the Montecito neighbours over the years that they're just really unhappy with Hazza and Megxi being in their community because, according to the reports, the neighbours are really unhappy that Hazza and Megxi really don't do anything in their community at all. They don't support the community, they don't mesh with the community, they don't socialise with the community, nothing. And the Montecito community is like, well, hang on a minute. Who the hell do you guys think you are, really, in the grand scheme of things?
Which brings us to the part Meghan can't reframe. This is where the story actually ends, not with scandal, not with collapse, not with a dramatic headline, but with something worse. Finality. For years, there was always a backup plan. If one lane closed, another opened. If one circle pulled away, another welcomed her in. If momentum slowed, something big was always coming. That safety net is gone now. Florida isn't a pause. It isn't a reset, that it's the final test. There's no buffer left, no elite bubble, no industry patience, no assumption that success is just around the corner. What comes next has to work. Not trend, not provoke debate, not generate sympathy. It has to produce results. And if it doesn't, the story doesn't blow up. It settles.
When they talk about irresponsible tabloids, I've got a lot of stories like that of stuff we didn't publish. So I'm not after any gratitude, but I do think in the scales of balance between the media and the royal family, the media has been as much a part of the longevity of the royal family when many other monarchies have disappeared through Europe.
It's interesting.
One of the last standing ones is the British monarchy, and a lot of that's because the media still fuel them and portray them as the biggest stars on the planet.
Angela, very interesting, isn't it? Because, of course, Prince Harry has tried to paint a narrative, and this is a narrative that has absolutely been embraced by Meghan Markle.
That's the part people underestimate. When things fail at this stage, the response isn't outrage, it's indifference. Audiences stop checking. Studios stop following up. Celebrities stop managing their distance. The press stops being careful. The phone just goes quiet. That's why this moment matters more than any interview or podcast appearance, not because it's loud, but because it isn't. This is the first time Meghan Markle is moving forward without a safety net beneath her. No palace, no Hollywood push, no powerful allies stepping in, just outcomes or silence. And at this point, silence doesn't mean waiting, it means being left behind.